Welcome to COY 15. Are you guys excited?
I am.
Come on, are you excited? Come on. Hold on. I think we need to do one thing as young people, you know what we love to do.
Oh,
A selfie, right?
I know.
Hey, let's go.
Yes, please.
Let's see. Let's find that camera.
Selfie
There we
first.
go. Smile, everybody. Would you guys like a selfie? Oh, let's go.
Okay.
There you go.
Hey.
Wow, we are finally here at COY 15. Are you excited? Come on, give me some energy. So, thank you, you guys for joining us from around the world to being here today at COY 15. It is amazing to see what young people can do in the face of change. Kamal, what do you think? Isn't that amazing?
I think it's super amazing seeing everyone so excited here and being able to make it. And this COY is one that will probably be remembered for a very, very long time. From Chile to Madrid. This is not just a story of venue change. This is a story of resilience, a story of courage, the story of young people coming together to make a difference, a story that will echo for several years to come.
Wow. The chaos, last-minute changes. In the last 3 weeks, young people from around the world have been able to come together to produce what we have here today. Our spirits were not dampened, but we were energized for climate action from around the world. We didn't let this bring us down, but we prevailed. And here we are today in Madrid, having COY 15, from Chile to Madrid in just 3 weeks. Give that a clap.
So, before we begin any further, let us introduce ourselves. So, meet my friend Taryn. He is from the Bahamas. He is part of the Bahamas Youth Climate Movement and a youth member of the National Climate Change Committee and Youth Climate Scholar for 2019. Please give a big hand to my friend Taryn.
I want you to give an even bigger hand clap to my fellow islander, Kumal from Fiji.
Hi.
Kumal is a part of the Alliance for Future Generation Fiji. I'm sure many of you may even know her from the Global Youth Climate Action Summit in New York. And if you don't know her, I think you should get to know her from the rest of these days.
Thank you, Taryn.
You're welcome. Now, this year, we will be your...
Moderators for the opening session of COY 15.
You guys look a little sleepy. Let's do an energizer. Can everybody stand up for me? Stand up.
Oh, wow.
Good. Now, I want you to put your hands up. I want you to put your hands down. I want you to turn around.
Turn around.
Now stop. I want you to say hi and tell the person that you're facing you are happy that they're here as loud as possible. Ready?
I'm happy that you're here.
I'm happy that you're here. Let's. You can all have a seat now. Please be seated. Thank you.
So, in case of an emergency, follow the exit signs and listen to the members in yellow jackets. They will be guiding you. The full details are available in the logistic package that all of you have received in your email. So please take out the time and have a read through. And in case of any logistical issues or questions, you can always approach our volunteers from the university who are wearing blue jackets. I'm sure many of you would have seen them on your way to the venue. And recognizing that today, Friday, many youth around the world are leaving their studies to strike for climate. We applaud the actions being taken by youth around the world. And in support of these movements, we encourage COY attendees to strike in place by attending workshop sessions and workshops that support developing policy and sharing best practices that can have international impacts. Finally, we want to remind you that lunch will be served from 1 to 3 p.m. in the cafeteria. So, in order to reduce food waste and be able to maximize session time, we ask you to please join us for lunch in the cafeteria during the mentioned times. Thank you.
We are honored today to have in our presence His Excellency Mr. Gonzalo Muñoz, high-level champion of COP25. He was nominated by the Chilean presidency for this role, through which he is mobilizing climate action in non-state actors all around the world. We have had the honor to engage Senor Muñoz in different avenues throughout the year, starting from SB50 in Bonn, then on a national level at the Latin American Climate Week, UN General Assembly, and pre-COP. Please stand as we welcome high-level champion, Senor Muñoz.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will shortly start by saluting in Spanish first. Rector de la Universidad Politécnica de Madrid, Guillermo, vicerrector de la Universidad Complutense, Jesús, Cristina, Nicolas. Lo primero que quiero hacer aquí es agradecer al gobierno y al pueblo español, a la Academia Española, por habernos recibido en las circunstancias en que nos tuvieron que recibir. Por lo tanto, no cabe sino comenzar cualquier instancia de este tipo agradeciendo la hermandad, la generosidad y la apertura que a través de vosotros hemos encontrado de todo el pueblo español. Muchísimas, muchísimas gracias. Well, young people in the room, I think that definitely we're facing relevant, challenging times. We're not only talking about the climate crisis that we're facing. The reason why we're now here in Madrid instead of Valparaíso is because Chile is confronting a very, very, very critical moment. And there was no possible way to have COY, neither COP, in Chile. And it would be absolutely not only unfair, but irresponsible not to consider that actually the climate crisis has gone into a moment where it's a same expression of the social crisis that we're facing around the world. And that's the challenge. The challenge is not only to solve such an enormous problem like the climate change situation that we're facing, but also connect everything that is related to the solution of the climate crisis to the social demands and the social needs all around the world. We, of course, have to understand that both the climate crisis and the social needs, the social demands, the social crisis are a reflection of the way in which we live in this planet. It's absolutely related to the way we overconsume in this world. It's related to the culture that is prevalent in this world. It's related to the way we understand success. So most of the challenge that we are all facing, but will totally connect to you young people that are now taking your moment in time to start leading, will be all about redefining success in this world. We have perceived ourselves, the human beings, as the successful species. It seems that we're not. It seems that we have, for example, understood success without the consideration of the planetary boundaries. We have understood success for just a few group of people and not for everybody. So in this right moment in time, we have to be first very conscious about what we do in every aspect of our life. And I would say, I would ask you, I would encourage you to be very consistent, not only in the use of your talent. How are you going to use your talent on your daily basis? To which organization are you going to be related to and bringing all of your effort and your time to? But also be consistent in the way you use your money. Your purchase power and the talent of and the power of your talent are two extraordinary tools that you have to be using very consistently in order for all the human beings to solve not only, again, the environmental crisis, but also the social crisis that we are confronting. We have to definitely increase the well-being for all within the planetary boundaries. That's, I would say, the way to resume our challenge. We need to definitely start, and I would say, increase the speed of the transition of our development model to one that will transform our development model into one that it will be absolutely connected to the 17 SDGs. That's definitely the rule for the next decade. How each of us will be connected, regardless of the type of organization, regardless of where we live, regardless of the culture of our country, how are we going to connect our work to the transition of our development model, to the transformation of it, in order for us to reach 2030 absolutely connected to the solution of all of the Sustainable Development Goals. And that's not just narrative. That has to be connected to everything that we do on a daily basis. That's not only something that is related to a meeting like this one. It's much more connected to how we live in our cities. It's absolutely connected to how we produce our food. It's absolutely connected to how do we use the power of our money, where our money comes from and where our money goes to. It's absolutely connected to the way we relate to each other. Which type of conversations are we having every day with every people that we connect? This type of conversation, actually in the world, is absolutely elitist. We are the elite of the world. We understand how urgent is the change and the need of the change, but at the same time, we understand how complex is the situation and how complex is the type of solutions. How are we going to bring this conversation, but not only this conversation, but the solutions and the value that we develop through the solution to every single citizen of the world, starting with those that are mostly in need? That is the main challenge. Not only having an exceptional COY, an exceptional co-op, and have the capability of writing fantastic documents. This has to become an element that adds value to the livelihoods of everybody in the world. And let me tell you, I'm not only speaking about people. It's of course through people that we have to understand that we need to love all species, all children of all species for all time. That's the main challenge. I really thank you for the opportunity, but encourage you to have an extraordinary COY and look forward to receive most of the outcomes of this COY at COP in a few days. Thank you very much.
I would now like to invite Benedita and Eleanor, all the way from Chile, from the COY hard-working team. COY 15 team has worked extremely hard throughout the year to organize COY in Chile, and just 3 weeks to organize COY in Madrid. They would come and give you an overview of COY, share with you the new COY video, and also welcome you to this great COY 15. Stand up and welcome Benedita and Eleanor.
My name is Bernardita, and this year I've been working with an amazing group of people to make this event possible. For all of you that not know yet what a COY is or are joining us for the first time, this is my first time too, the Conference of Youth, the COY, is the official event of YONGO, the Children and Youth Constituency of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. It is an annual gathering of young people that are passionate about climate change and environment topics. Our aim is to compile national and regional inputs into positions of global youth to be fed into climate negotiations at COP25 this time. Youth from around the world are here to exchange experiences, knowledge, and best practices to strengthen the international youth climate movement. and involve the next generations in developing climate solutions and actions. I now invite you all to watch with us a video that our members in our team prepared for this occasion. So now that we watched the video, before going out of the stage, I would like to ask everyone to pause for a moment, to a minute of silence, so we can send good vibes, energy, or prayers to reflect on the people and countries that are already affected by climate change, to give solidarity with Chile and other countries that are currently in conflict.
Let's give Benedita a clap one more time. One of my favorite quotes is from an author called Charles Swindoll. He said that, life is much like a coin. We can spend it any way that we can. And I'm happy that you're spending your coin on doing climate action. Being from an island nation about 2 months ago, looking at that video brought chills to me. I sat down for 36 hours as a huge hurricane destroyed 2 of our islands, killing about 60 people. And I'm so happy, and the people of the Bahamas, and I'm sure Fiji also, who have experienced cyclones, we thank you for climate action as we work together globally to ensure that people's lives are saved around the world. I would like to welcome to the stage now the Byungo BLT team and policy operations team. They will come to welcome from Yungo, and also give you a brief purpose of what Yungo is all about, the history of COY, and open an invitation for you as participants to work with working groups for policy. I would like to welcome Sarah Voska, Emily Dollar, and Yukrepna Shavasana.
I should probably come closer here instead of just shouting. So we are part of the Yungo bottom lining team, which is a group of individuals who are all volunteers who support Yungo practices by pushing the procedures through and making sure that some of the interventions get done. And then we also are part of the policy operations teams, which works with the working groups and also supports with some of the interventions as well, and drafting what Yungo policy should be on behalf of the discussions that are happening in the working groups and at all the LCOYs and COYs. So do you want to give a little presentation about the working groups?
Yeah. So Yungo has over 25 working groups. The working groups are small teams based on different themes. They ranging from adaptation, mitigation, and renewable energy to oceans, loss and damage, and agriculture. People can join freely. You can join in a voluntary basis. You don't have to pass any selection criteria. And the working groups are really good to work during the year on different issues, particularly submissions to the UNFCCC, as well as preparing the policy statements for Yungo during COY. As well, you can also get involved in the media and communications, and also helping to build the COY, and also on being part of the wider Yungo team on different areas. So the working groups normally work and organize through Facebook and also through the mailing list. As I said, it's really easy to join, so if you are interested in joining any of them, please approach us and ask any questions.
So welcome everybody from different parts of the world. We are very, very honored and pleased to have you. Just building upon what Emily said, so in the next 2.5 days that we have now, including today, we will be focusing primarily on preparation towards COP25 negotiations. As you may be aware, COP25 this year would have some key priorities. The first one being concluding some of the agenda items from the Paris Agreement Work Program, that is Article 6, common timeframes, adaptation fund board, and some matters on response measures. If these terms sound new to you, please don't worry. We will be having a detailed introduction session right after the opening plenary where you can learn more about this and how to engage. Secondly, this is space for you is to also prepare in terms of what we are going to be doing at COP. That includes interventions and policy papers for some of these specific sessions that include not just the negotiations or the plenary interventions, but also specific in-session dialogues, high-level segments by the presidency and everyone else. So I would like you all to use this opportunity to learn and to engage, to build capacity, network with each other, and enjoy that you are here in Madrid. As Taran and Komal had mentioned, this COY is a story of resilience, is a story of putting together what was once we thought lost from the efforts that we did back in Chile. And finally, I would like to tell you that as young people, when you are engaging in this process, you would be met with challenges. Challenges of all sorts and all forms, including from those in authority. Please keep the courage. If you believe in what you're doing, keep doing it and push through. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, team, for that. And I think had it not been for the efforts put in by the COY 15 team and the younger members, we would not have been here today. So thank you so much. And COY 15 could not have been possible without the University of Complutense and University of Politécnica, Madrid, coming on board as the host. We cannot thank them enough for accommodating us in such a short notice, for all the support in providing logistics and volunteers and being an indispensable partner. First, we welcome on stage Mr. Jorge Jesus Gomez Sanz, Vice Rector of Technology and Sustainability of the University of Complutense, followed by Mr. Guillermo Cisneros Perez, Rector of the University Politécnica, Madrid. Please, sir.
Good morning. I want my first words to be in Spanish. Quiero enviar un fuerte abrazo a nuestros hermanos chilenos. Son tiempos difíciles y quiero que sepan que estamos con ellos. Un fuerte aplauso. Now, authorities, dear assistants, organizers of this conference, dear Rector Guillermo, I think it's a huge achievement to be here today. This is all due to you all. I want also to congratulate you all. It's a collective effort, but especially for you. I want to start by being positive. I remember when I was younger, I didn't have these thoughts that you have now. So I want to just tell you that there is already change in the society, and there is a hope that we can reverse the climate emergency. We can do more, of course, and I think that it's our duty to pave the way towards this goal. I assume the commitment of my rector, Rector Joaquín Goyache. I'm here in his name. I have also responsibility of achieving sustainability goals in my university. We're doing a lot of effort to do this. And we see from the point of administration that there is a really also different attitude towards the climate. We have to thank the government that recent laws allows us to implement very important actions that are necessary to commit with the goals of Agenda 2030. As I said before, we have a lot of things to do today and the next days. And I think that you can bring huge ideas for us to work on. I want to conclude my intervention with one phrase in Spanish from one minister of Argentina. No heredamos el planeta de nuestros antecesores, lo tomamos prestado de nuestros hijos. I think this is very truth. I have children. I was not aware that we were wasting the planet until I had children. I started thinking about what kind of world we are going to leave them. I'm very positive that looking at you, we can do different. We can do things in a more constructive way towards our climate. And I think we will manage to get through. Thank you all.
Voy a repartir la intervención entre español e inglés. Alta comisionada del Gobierno de España para el cumplimiento de la Agenda de Naciones Unidas, autoridades del Gobierno de Chile, high-level champions representatives, querido vicerrector de la Universidad Complutense de Madrid, compartimos el campus. You said, I still remember when I was youth. I remember it very well because I'm youth, so I'm still youth. So thank you very much. And all attendants and everybody, world citizens, welcome to Madrid, welcome to Spain, welcome to Universidad Politécnica de Madrid. Just when the government of Spain asked us for collaborating the establishment of support for COP25 and COY, we were absolutely delighted to say, okay, just go ahead. And everything under the coordination of the Spanish government and the presidents of the Chile government. We accepted the challenge, and so we are here, and we are here because Universidad Politécnica de Madrid is fully committed with the future of the planet, and we are fully committed with accomplishing with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It's 169 development measures, everything for the 2030 agenda of the United Nations, because our main purpose is the education of students, education of youth. And we understand that we are making everything as public university for educating future generations and as well for providing solutions for problems of people and society. Just the nucleus of our university is the engineering. Engineering is just providing solutions for people and society. So, if there are problems, there must be solutions. And the declaration of our university in our Council of Government has been that. It's not just to fight against something, because the main thing is to provide solutions and not to make empty declarations. And so, our university is fully committed with providing education for people, for providing research towards the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and to provide solutions in contracts with private enterprises in establishing private-public partnerships with contracts that are targeting the Sustainable Development Goals. So after that, we are hosting here this Conference of Youth, which is a pleasure and fully aligned because the lemma is saying we are action. You are saying we are action. So our university is action, as it's the Spanish government supporting and asking us for this challenge. So thank you very much for coming, because your discussions will be absolutely fruitful for the COP25. It will be a very valuable input for the discussion within the COP25, your conclusions. So thanks to the organizers, thanks to COY 15 and COP25 organizers, thanks to our UPM team conducted by our Vice Director for Quality and Efficiency, Professor Alberto Garrido, thanks to all volunteers, thanks to the Spanish government for having trusted on us, and thanks particular, we are in our faculty for sports and science in our university, thanks to the INEF. Thanks as well to the School of Edificación, because you are making the registration in the building of our university, and thanks to all attendants, because we understand the trip to come here is sometimes long from any other part of the world, but the world is global. And we understand that if any flight takes about 13 hours, as is the case from Santiago de Chile to come here, it's always 13 hours to go from Madrid to Santiago de Chile. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you once again for being such gracious hosts. So, we've came to one of my favorite parts of COY. In the lead up to global COY from around the world, young people have been hosting and organizing national and regional COYs, all together called LCOY, to activate local climate action. This year, we had 28 local COYs. Can you imagine that?
For real, 28.
For real, 28 local COYs that took place around the world. This included regional COYs in the Indian and Pacific Ocean, national COYs in Haiti, Dominican Republic, Austria, the Netherlands, Egypt, India, the UK, Costa Rica, as well as a pre-COP youth forum. That's amazing. Don't you think that's amazing?
Yeah.
So much young people around the world organizing such awesome local events.
I think this perfectly sums up we are action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We are what? We are what? Say it louder. We are what?
Action.
Please stand with me as we welcome LCOY organizers from around the world to give their outcomes of their local COYs.
Buenos días. El compañero y yo les vamos a comentar un poco sobre las conferencias locales de juventud que se realizaron. Fueron en total 28 conferencias locales, que son la Local COY de Argentina, la de Bolivia, que el compañero a continuación les va a hablar un poco sobre su experiencia. También la Local COY de Burkina Faso, de Canadá, de Costa Rica, de Alemania, de India, de Italia, de Polonia, de Malasia, de Paraguay, de Ecuador, de Nicaragua, de México, de Austria, de Camerún, de Chad, de Côte d'Ivoire, de Kenia, de Mauricio, de Holanda, de Pakistán, de Haití, de Egipto y de Reino Unido. Ahora el compañero les va a comentar un poco sobre lo que es vivir una conferencia local de juventud.
Bueno, hola a todos. Mi nombre es Marco, soy representante de la LCOY Bolivia. Bueno, acabamos de llegar, entonces es un poco improvisado. En cualquier caso, se supone que va a haber un espacio en el que yo voy a poder compartir a más detalle todo lo que he venido trabajando junto con mi equipo en Bolivia, porque esto lo hemos hecho entre muchos jóvenes a nivel nacional en distintas áreas de mi país. Para que se den una idea, Bolivia tiene más o menos 4 veces la superficie de Alemania. Entonces, ha sido una de las principales dificultades que hemos tenido al intentar organizarnos a nivel nacional. Y esta ha sido una experiencia muy enriquecedora a nivel personal, profesional y en muchos otros aspectos. Y como no sé si lo mencioné antes, pero fue la primera vez que se llevó a cabo esto en mi país. La idea, más que todo, fue de dar un espacio a los jóvenes para que ellos puedan expresarse y dar a conocer sus puntos de vista de un modo independiente, sin programas preestablecidos por alguna agencia gubernamental o no. Entonces, creo que es uno de los objetivos más grandes que hemos intentado alcanzar. Y el 4, 5 y 6 de octubre de este año se dio esta conferencia en la ciudad de Santa Cruz de la Sierra, que se encuentra en la parte este de mi país, en el Amazonas. Entonces, Sí, los invito a buscarnos en nuestras redes sociales, como COY Bolivia, y a nuestras organizaciones organizadoras, que es la Plataforma Boliviana de Acción frente al Cambio Climático y la Sociedad Científica de Estudiantes de Ingeniería Ambiental de la Universidad Mayor de San Andrés. Y sí, muy contento de estar aquí y conocerlos a todos.
También, bueno, decidimos contar, como hablando con Sara, un poco también sobre lo que pasó en Costa Rica. Yo soy de Costa Rica. Nosotros también llevamos a cabo nuestra primera conferencia local de juventudes. Esta fue la ropa propia con la que nos uniformamos las personas jóvenes en Costa Rica en el marco de nuestra conferencia local. Igual nació de un colectivo de personas jóvenes que después de nuestra conferencia a inicios de octubre ya nos conformamos como una red de juventudes y cambio climático de Costa Rica y estamos comenzando a trazar lineamientos con base en lo que pasó con la local COY. Para nuestra local COY no la enfocamos solamente en las personas jóvenes de Costa Rica. En Costa Rica se estaba dando la pre-COP, entonces decidimos hacer el espacio como un espacio para las voces de América Latina, entendiéndonos en un concepto regional, por lo cual participaron personas jóvenes entonces de toda América Latina. Para nosotros fue una gran experiencia, fue totalmente liderado por personas jóvenes, pero contamos con alianzas estratégicas, al igual que cuando estábamos revisando sobre las otras conferencias locales nos dimos cuenta de que en todas se dieron diferentes alianzas, pero bajo el liderazgo de personas jóvenes, que creo que esa es la esencia de las conferencias locales de juventudes, y de posicionar sobre la mesa que las personas jóvenes realmente estamos trabajando y que solamente estamos exigiendo espacios para poder llenarlos con nuestros aportes y nuestras voces. Muchas gracias.
Once again, a big congratulations to all the local COY organizers from around the world. I think they deserve another round of applause. Young people from around the world are doing such an amazing job. COYs and local COYs serve as a space for capacity building and policy training to prepare youths for their participation at COP25. With all that has happened in the past 3 weeks or so, we must commend the efforts of the Spanish government in coming forward as the new host for COY 15 and COP25. Buenos días and muchas gracias for making this possible, for putting together everything in such a short time frame. Please join your hands together in welcoming Her Excellency, Ms. Cristina Galach, the High Commissioner on Agenda 2030, and hear from her what Spain is doing in addressing climate change. Her Excellency, please.
Well, dear moderators, I'm going to ask you something first. Join me for a selfie. For who? My teenagers. They are studying not in Madrid, somewhere else, and cannot join.
Turn it around right there. Yeah.
Okay. Are
We
you
love
ready?
sharing.
Hello? Hello? Again? So, thank you very much for being here. El Gobierno de España está extremadamente satisfecho de que hayáis podido venir aquí. Vosotros esperabais pasar unos días en el verano austral, en Valparaíso, en unas lindas playas, y estáis en el invierno europeo en Madrid. Muy bienvenidos y realmente estamos muy satisfechos de que pese a las dificultades que habéis tenido de cambiar los planes, de ajustar vuestros viajes, os podamos dar la bienvenida a esta ciudad y a nuestro país. ¿Por qué? Pues porque España está muy comprometida con los jóvenes y muy comprometida con el cambio climático y está muy comprometida con la Agenda 2030, con los 17 Objetivos de Desarrollo Sostenible, como han dicho el rector y el vicerrector, que intentamos que en todas las instancias penetren, porque somos una generación que queremos preparar de la mejor manera posible nuestra sociedad para vosotros, para las futuras generaciones. Por tanto, sentiros acogidos a un país que prepara el futuro con esta voluntad de relación intergeneracional, de pacto intergeneracional para todos vosotros. Segundo, os quiero dar las gracias. Thank you so much, dear young friends from all over the world. Why do I want you to thank you on behalf of the Spanish government? Because thanks to you, to your mobilization, the cause of climate change is up front everywhere in the world. In the 28 countries they were mentioned where you celebrated meetings, in every city and in every corner. And this is fundamental, because without the worldwide mobilization, we are not going to be able to have the movement it is needed to change the climate crisis and to make it possible for the future generations to live. So thanks from the bottom of our heart, and feel welcome in this place, which we are fully committed to the transformations that need to take place. And now I have an ask for you all. And my ask is continue, be supportive, be demanding, because after you've finished your discussions on Sunday, the delegates will open their portfolios, will start discussing not far away from here in the conference center a number of key issues. And we want, the Spanish government wants, that all the delegates feel the need, feel the heat, feel the constructive pressure to move on towards a more ambitious climate agenda. We all know that next year, 2020, we'll need all the governments and many more, the civil society, to commit to further action, to commit to higher ambition, and to commit to deeper engagement. And if you are there, if you continue putting the pressure you've been doing, I have no doubt nobody, no delegation will be resisting your pressure. So this support that we need to feel has to be a support with imagination, a support with action. We also need to see the manner in which you relate to each other to generate this constructiveness which the youth movement around the world has been putting. And I have then no doubt that the COP in Madrid, that is the COP in Chile that could not happen, but we made it possible together, and we want the Chilean presidency to take away from Madrid the best result possible, is the real way to a truly transformation of our planet, fully committed to the SDGs that care about our environment, the place we live, but care in particular about the people that in particular we want them to move on and feel nobody behind. So welcome, thank you, and give us all the pressure and the support possible for the most successful Chile Madrid COP25. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you again for that warm welcome to the city of Madrid. Again, this COP and COY shows how if we work together, we can achieve what we need to achieve. So I hope that parties would take from this that togetherness and true international cooperation can help us solve the climate crisis. Now, moving on, today we're going to invite Olga from Spain to come and share with us what's going on the ground here in Spain. Olga is a student at the University of Politécnica de Madrid. She studies telecommunications and biomedical engineering, and has stepped up to serve as volunteer coordinator for this COY 15. We welcome Olga to the stage as she would like to share a bit of what motivates young people here on the ground in Spain to work towards climate action. Olga? She probably stepped out. So let's move right along in our program. We're all about resilience and moving forward. So next up, the United Nations Frameworks on Climate Change provides the basis for concentrated international action to mitigate climate change and adapt to its impacts. Let us call to the podium Mr. Nicolas Simpson, Manager of Global Climate Action at the UNFCCC, to share remarks about the role of young people, share the role of us in the negotiation process, and to allow him to encourage us as young participants to actively engage and accelerate climate action. Let us welcome, with a big round of applause, Mr. Nicolas Simpson.
Thank you so much. My name is Olga. I hope we'll hear from her soon in a little while. My name is Nicolas, and it's a really great pleasure to be here. I wanted to share with you a little bit about, this COP, the Conference of the Parties, Circus of the Parties, what it is, why we're here, what we hope to achieve, and where your role as youth is fitting into our process. But let me go back a little bit and start from the beginning, 1992, when the UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change, was created. It's a complicated name with a complicated acronym. We just say UN Climate Change normally. UNFCCC was established to get all the governments of the world to work together to address the climate change challenge. At that time, challenge, today, crisis. It took us more than 20 years to achieve a plan that all governments agreed, saying, okay, we are going to do our part, we're going to get things together. This is a Paris Agreement that was adopted some 3-4 years ago in 2015. The Paris Agreement is very much a blueprint for how parts are going to work together. What we have done since 2015 is really to work out the detailed rules of how the Paris Agreement should work together. This was almost done last year at COP24 in Katowice. We have a few things that we still need to do, but I will come back to that. But I want to mention, why did it take more than 20 years for governments to agree on this? It's not because governments don't want to do anything. It's not because governments are lazy. It is because it is really complicated. If we are going to deal with climate change, it's not about phasing out one chemical or changing how one sector is working. No, it impacts every part of life. How we build buildings, how we manage cities, how we produce food, how we produce clothing, how we recycle our waste, how we generate energy, and so on. So the Paris Agreement basically gives us the basis for addressing this. It took 20 years, and in those 20 years, the global greenhouse gas emissions increased by more than 40%, and we pushed up greenhouse gas concentrations in the atmosphere to levels that we have not seen on this planet for at least 3.6 million years. You are all very well aware about the impact that we are starting to see from climate change. And unfortunately, climate change is like a supertanker. It takes a very long time to change the course to reduce emissions. So even if we're able to reduce all emissions today, here, now, it's going to be many, many years before we see the climate change curve turning down. So this is what we're trying to do in UNFCCC. What is actually a COP? A Conference of the Parties is more than 1,000 separate meetings, every meeting having co-chairs, rapporteurs, agendas, which are reported first down and then up again to the final decision-making body, which is Conference of the Parties, COP. It's something that usually takes us almost 2 years to prepare. And we have been preparing this for quite a long time. First, we were thinking that COP was going to be in Brazil. The Brazilian government said, no, thank you. And then Chile, thank God, stepped up and said, we will be happy to host you. Then we all know what happened in Chile. And then Spain stepped up and said, okay, we will help you. And we are eternally grateful to the government of Spain for not only hosting COP in such a short time, but also to help us with the COY. So thank you to Spain. But you may ask, why are we still negotiating? We have a Paris Agreement, we have the implementation rules from Katowice, can't we just get down to action? So my first answer to that is yes, we have to get down to action. Secondly, there's still a few things to be done. So let me just tell you that this COP is about many things. As I said, there are more than 1,000 meetings, there are more than 200 agenda items, but there are really 3 big ones for this COP. The first one is something that has a very unsexy name of Article 6. It's Article 6 in the Paris Agreement, and it basically refers to market-based instruments. What it really means is putting a price on carbon. I think we're all kind of, enthusiastic, idealistic. We understand that we need to do something about climate, but we also know, whether you are 100 years old, 50 years old, or 10 years old, money really drives the world. It's very much economic decisions that decides how we act, whether we like it or not. And even if some of us maybe are more aware that we have to look at other things, a majority of all people, of all generations, are still following the money. So this is a very, very important issue to get done. It's also very, very thorny, because what we need is climate market instruments that are fair, that have high environmental integrity, and that really, really works. The second part is involvement of what we call non-party stakeholders. It's the private sector, civil society, it's youth, it's cities, it's seniors, it's really everybody who is not the national government. Because what we do know is that, yeah, the Paris Agreement is there, and yes, it's an agreement between governments, but to implement it, we need all hands on deck. So we have a mandate from Paris saying that non-party stakeholders are invited to take action, and that mandate, actually invitation, expires next year. So we hope very much that we will hear from our partners saying, yes, we need non-party stakeholders to continue the work that they are doing already today. The third one is about ambition. You may be aware about that the Paris Agreement is basically not a top-down agreement. United Nations is not a police, has never been a police, will never be a police. But it is parties, our governments, who have adopted climate action plans, also known as national determined contributions. We'll have stupid names. But basically, they are responsible for their own climate action plans, and they need to meet at regular intervals to report on what they have done, to be questioned by the peers about why are you not doing more, and to take increased ambition. The ambition we have today, and we are still at the start of the process, but the ambition we have today is far, far from where we need to go. In best case, with the action plans we have today, with the NDCs we have today, we will have climate change of above 3 to 4 degrees by 2100. That is not possible, because that spells a total disaster for our world. Now, so that is why we're having these COPs. We still have negotiations, but essentially we need to move from negotiations to implementation to action. And that is why your voices are so very important. Now, a year ago, I was standing here. Actually, I was not standing here. I was at COY 14 in Katowice in Poland. And when I was thinking the other day, the difference between COY 14 and COY 15, it is really tremendous. Because at that time, before COP, we were contacted by a small girl who was asking if she could come to COP because she wanted to talk about climate. And most of my colleagues had not heard about her. I have heard about her because I'm Swedish, so I follow Swedish media. Her name was Greta Thunberg. You didn't have really Fridays for Future. You didn't have a big movement. What we have seen over the last year is that the climate change issue has come front and center. Today, we don't only have Fridays for Future, we have Parents for Future, Teachers for Future, Architects for Future, we even have Banks for Future. You know, it's just mind-blowing to see what you have achieved in less than a year, what we, my generation, has not been able to do in 30 years. But we're not done. This needs to continue, and I agree with everybody who talked before me. This is an important movement. It's not, in my view, an intergenerational gap. You know, if you're wondering why is this happening now, is it because you are better educated? Yes, I would hope so. Is it because you have better access to information? I think so. Is it because climate change is now starting to get real and visible to everybody? Yes, definitely so. But is it because, you know, the old generation doesn't understand and the young generation understand? I do think that it's more complicated than that. One thing that sounds really good, and I hate it, is when people say, you are the youth, you are the future belongs to you. I don't like that because I think that the future belongs to all of us. Unless you plan to go and die today, you have to be part of the future. You have to be part of the solution. So it really doesn't matter who you are or what you do. And you cannot sit and wait 10 years until the next generation is in power. We have to fix this now. I am 55. When you are 55, I hope that this will be done. You will not have to worry about this. But if you have to worry about this, I hope that you will not have given up because not formally youth any longer, but because you care. In a sense, we are moving from the generation, the baby boomers, the generation X, Y, millennials, Z generation, into generation we care, which is a generation that is not so much defined by when we were born, but defined by the attitude that we really, really care. We care about our planet, we care for each other. The We Care generation has a very bad acronym, by the way, so let's not use that. Let's think about something else, WC. So, anyway, what is happening at the COP? Well, I think many of you know it. We have negotiations for 2 weeks. We have 198 parties. We have 2,500 observer organizations, many of them youth organizations, the youngos in one label. There will be dedicated days looking at young and future generation day, which is on 5th of December, if I recall correctly. And there will also be a second day on education, training, participation in the second week. But the fact is that this issue, the voice of the youth, needs to be everywhere. It's not one single agenda item, it's everywhere. And I'm really very happy to see that many of you not coming as youth, you're coming as part of delegations, of party delegations and of other observer organizations. And this is important because your voice needs to be everywhere. I said that it's not an intergenerational gap, but it's very, very clear to me that youth is driving this very strongly. And for me, in a way, COY is the best part of COP, because the level of enthusiasm, energy, and inspiration that you're bringing into our discussions is very, very much needed. I do want to give a shout out to my two colleagues, Adriana and Carla, sitting down there, who are managing the ACE negotiations, the Action for Climate Empowerment, which is very much about people, which is very much what we can do together. So, let me finally say one thing. Not everybody are going to COP, and that is absolutely fine, because things are happening at the COP, it's important. But much, much more important is what's happening outside COP, in between the COPs, because change is happening at the international level, at the national level, but especially it has to happen at the local level. It starts at your dinner tables, it starts in your offices, in your universities. Please keep that going. Finally, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Alvaro, to Juan, to Bernadetta, to the whole amazing COY team. Give me a hand, help me give them a hand. I want to thank the university and the other university and everybody who are actually making these meetings possible, and again to the government of Spain. Let me finally repeat what was said in the video here. The future is now. Let's grab it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Give him a hand clap one more time. I think we found Olga, I believe. Did we? Did we find Olga? Over there? So we have Olga and Martha. They'll be coming up to give remarks on behalf of the volunteer coordination team. And also, before they come on up, I would like to recognize once again Ms. Adriana Valenzuela for her continuous work with ACE. Additionally, Mr. Santush Pakasam, did I get it right? He's the head of Observer Groups, Observer Organization Liaison Unit. Give him a hand clap. Olga Mata, please.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Olga. I'm studying telecommunication engineering here in this university. And here is my friend, Mar, who is also studying in this university, in this faculty, INEF.
Science of Sport.
And we are both coordinating the volunteering group that is going to be here these days to help you make this thing happen, right? So we work coordinating our volunteering group in this school, in Universidad Politécnica de Madrid. We have a group of students of an organization called Global Challenge, and this year we have students from all over the country. We have also here today students from Politécnica, Carlos III, Universidad Autónoma de Madrid, Complutense, Alcalá, and Comillas University. And my friend is gonna tell you what kind of things we do.
So at first, we are really grateful for all these people, all these volunteer people who are working a lot in this organization and doing these events be possible. So thank you all. Well, what is Global Challenge in the organization we are working in? It's an organization in which we think the students have to be empowered. Okay, so we have, like as students, we have a voice to change the world and change the university too. So we think we have the power to work in different issues like gender equality, sustainability, like ecological issue, okay, like cultural diversity. So we think we and us, like persons and students, we have the voice to change all this and take the problems, solve the problems in the world together. So we are working to do that in the university with different activities.
And as it is said before, wake up humanity, we don't have time. Now I tell you, wake up students, we don't want to be without time. So we are here to work together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Olga, and the university volunteers for stepping up and making this possible. And I think, as you can see the logo as well, time is running. We don't really have a lot of time, and together we can really make a difference. So, as we are coming closer to the end of the program, please let me welcome our awareness team, who will introduce us to the concept of COY 15 and introduce the members of the awareness team, and also put together a small energizer for us. Please, let's welcome the awareness team on stage.
Okay, I'm not supposed to be the only one of the awareness team, but anyway. As always during COYs, we have an awareness team and we have a space for you where when you feel like depressed or something, when you want to talk to someone or when something happened. So in the 7th floor, there is a room where you can go for like any well-being, to address your well-being. As well, there is a room for prayer. So if you, somehow feel you have to go to someone, have a safe space, please go to the 7th floor, there is someone taking care of you. Yeah, exactly, and there should actually be some more people, but I don't know where they are at the moment. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Claire. So right before we move into our closing remarks, we're going to invite Alvaro from the COY 15 development team. He's been hard at work for the last year organizing this spectacular COY for you. He'll be giving you some logistic information and be telling you how COY will be running this year.
Thank you everyone for being here today. Thank you to the university that is hosting us, that is the University Politécnica of Madrid. We also thank you the Universidad Complutense that is working with us in this tremendous work that we started less than a month ago here. It's been a very big challenge for us, but the universities step in with volunteers, with the workers of the university, and with an amazing team that they are putting in this position for us. We are very grateful for that. Also, the government helped us with the logistics and other stuff like visas issues. With this short notice, people from all around the world is coming here, and we are very grateful with the government, with the Agenda 2030 people with this office represented here for the High Commissioner that help us with all the arrangement for international people to come. We are very grateful for that. Thank you. Also, we want to thank you, UNFCCC, that is always supporting with the ACE team, with the COL team. They are always supporting us in every way that we are requesting in the last few months. We are very happy to be here. We are closing this ceremony. In the closing of the ceremony, we are going to have 10 minutes to rest, to go to the bathroom and stuff. We know that people came from their flights, people came in from big trains journeys. We see at the night, we see people that was in France taking trains for coming here. So we are going to have that time to go out. Later, we are going to have a little briefing when we are going to explain you how this conference runs, how are the spaces that we have here, different rooms, different conference rooms that we are going to have to disposition to work in the working groups and in the different workshops that we are preparing for this conference. This year we have different people supporting us in the universities. Also CEPAL, then is the Office of Latin American Cooperation and Economical Support to Latin America from the UN. We are receiving support from European Union, from the Chilean government. We are receiving also a support from Lime, that is a company of electrical scooters, that give us some codes that we are going to share later with you so you could move in the city in these scooters. We are receiving support from the Fresco de Climet, there is an NGO from France that is supporting us too. And also we are receiving a strong support for meals and other expenses from the universities that are also hosting us. So all this support is very appreciated for us. We also want to mention that Universidad Santa Maria in Chile was helping us during all the year to prepare the content of this conference. And sadly, we could not hold the conference there because of my country actual state that you already know by the news and for hotel social media. We thank them and thank Wayaki, that is a little company that was supporting us too during this year. We are very happy because all this support brings us here today. And I just want to thank again the universities, Complutense and the University Politécnica of Madrid that are hosting us. We are very, very grateful that you step into this big challenge in this short time. Thank you.
I think this opening ceremony was amazing. What do you think about it?
I think so.
I think we're off to a good COY, right? I think we are.
Let's give a big round of applause to ourselves.
Yep, round of applause. But before we close, today we have 14 young climate scholars from around the world here who were sponsored through the Youth for NDC's program, sponsored by the government of Norway. Can I ask them to please stand? Give them a clap, guys. I myself was fortunate enough to be a part of this program, to be here today in Madrid, to be here with you guys today, and to be prepared to not only work towards climate action, but to work in unity towards a better world for us. As Mr. Simpson said, the future is not just for us, it's the future for all of us. All of us are moving forward, and we need to move forward together. COY this year can only be successful with the participation of all of its participants. And we want you to take the best out of this opportunity. Yeah. With our partnership and collaboration from around the world, we can defeat climate action. We can ensure that vulnerable countries are saved and lives are saved. We just would like to thank you once again for coming. To our speakers, thank you for bringing such encouraging words. Additionally, this COY would not be possible without our sponsors of COY, so we'd like to give them a clap also. Kamal, are you ready for an exciting next 3 days?
Yes, I am.
Are you ready for our next exciting 3 days? What about you guys? Are you ready for our next exciting 3 days?
Yeah.
Before we close, I want a big We Are action. Are you ready? We are
action.
Thank you guys so much for paying attention. Enjoy the rest of COY. We are your moderators,
Como
and Taran. Have a great day.